Kia ora, mate.
Kia ora. We're here in Parongaho with David Opapa, and really lovely morning here. And David, would you like to share your whakapapa?
Yeah.
And how it all began for you musically?
Anyway, kia ora, mate. Kia ora tātou katoa. David Opapa tuku ingoa. Simona Opapa rau ko Waini Opapa tuku ngā mito. So Simon and Waini Opapa are my parents. Welcome to Coconut Grove, to Parongaho. This is, how'd you find yourself out here, man? Because, you come out here, you're either, lost, blown off course, or on the run. So
It's the latter, but don't tell.
yeah, so welcome everybody. This is a pleasure to be able to bring this little kōrero to you. Where it started for me was here. I was born here. We're down in the Central Hawke's Bay here, down in the bottom of nowhere really, and beyond 40 k's from here. It's, gets a bit manic out here. There's no one around. There's a little village of 190 people current.
Wow.
When I was at school here as a child, there was 250 people in the actual school, so you can imagine how life has changed out here. But it started for me here musically. My parents were part of a immigration wave that they came over from the Cook Islands in the 1950s, in the early 50s, and settled in New Zealand, both my mum and my dad, and they moved to Hawke's Bay, and 4 of my older sisters were born in Waipawa, and I was born here out in Parongaho. And so we had a lot of records, because mum and dad being new immigrants coming over from the islands, they used to listen to a lot of Annie Cromer's dad, actually, Will Cromer. Used to listen to a lot of, he was happening for my parents back then, so we used to listen to a lot of that kind of music. And there was always, harmony music on, churches, we'd go to church once a month on a Sunday, and again you're wrapped around that whole harmony singing, just Cook Island harmonies, 8-part harmony, 13-part harmony, not a problem. You just hear these different, so I grew up with a lot of melodic, harmony influence music. It was big. Just down the road down here is a place that my parents and the locals used to get together. My family down the road there were the Stricklands, and my mum's a Strickland. And so they were her cousins, if you like, they were 500 metres up the road. So they, the Strickland family, there were 9 kids in that family, 5 of them brothers, and they all played, drums, bass, guitar. And so as a child, we used to go down there and hang out down there, and that's where I kind of first heard live music. And somebody shoved the bass guitar, and I think my cousin Wayne shoved the bass guitar in my hand, and says, that's C, D, that's E, G, A, B, and it's kind of like, just follow us. I'm holding this big thing up here, all of 5 years old, holding this big blooming thing up here, trying to follow along. But what I think took place in those early days was that there was just something about what they were doing that I loved, and I thought, man, I want to do that, whatever that is, it's cool, so down there they used to have parties, and the local Cook Islanders would come down with their ukuleles, my mum and dad would go down there, the local farmers from around here, the local shearers. It was a who's who of the zoo down there. Everybody used to just go down there and just play music, and just sit around and enjoy music, and never any aggro, it was just laughter and fun, and so, that was the ultimate garage party, I suppose, that I grew up with out here, and so we were around that all the time. And my sister above me, Edna, she was the one that really kind of cranked it up for me musically.
How did she do that?
Yeah, she was listening to a lot of albums, we had records coming into our house, because where we are is quite remote. We tune into a radio used to get a little bit of Radio Hauraki and a little bit of Radio Windy coming in from Wellington. You know, it was,
Static.
yeah, it was kind of that. And I guess that's where I learned how to play drums too, because, you know, on the radio. And then grab Mum's stools.
All right.
She had those padded stools and, you know, pull out her knitting needles. You know, she'd be knitting something, I'd destroy her knitting in 2 seconds. Pull out her knittings and then just turn on the radio and songs like, I still get that same old feeling. And I started doing this on stools, and then what I found was that I could do it and sing at the same time. So I was, you know, missing really. You know, having no idea really what I was doing, just kind of missing, but I was keeping time, playing along to the radio, but I didn't know that at that point. I was just trying to keep in time with the song, so that kind of taught me a discipline about trying to keep time, you know, around that. So it's probably a good way to learn, is to play to the record, and play on top of the record, and keep time that way. So that was my first drum lesson. So when we left here at the age of 7, and we moved to Hastings, you know, I got into my teenage years, you know, we borrowed a drum kit from mates. We were too broke as and poor as to buy anything, you know. So we just borrowed a drum kit, had it in my bedroom, and had my bed up against the wall and had this kit in the middle of my room. And my mum used to, she used to work at 10 o'clock at night until 7 in the morning. So that was when I could play,
hard out then.
or wait till the afternoon when I got home from school and she'd be awake, and then I could, you know. And back then I was listening to people like Don Henley from the Eagles, you know, the way he drummed and sung at the same time. So, you know, again, influential. Timothy B. Schmidt, the bass player from the Eagles, like, you know, that guy even now is, you know, my all-time favourite male singer. Heavily influenced by him. Just their approach, their whole cool thing that they had going on, you know, just sit in the background, step up to the mic, step back, you know, used to watch all that sort of stuff. Yeah.
You talked to me before about your interest in session plays and things. Could you share a bit about that, how that started for you?
The session plays, yeah. Well, you know, obviously now I'm a teenager and we're living up in Hastings. We left here when I was the age of 7. And we moved up to Hastings, and it was there that I started to, you know, got myself a part-time job. I could finally afford to buy music. And the first album I bought was a Hollies album, Another Night. We took it out of H and shoved it in Z so no one else would buy it. Yeah, no other bugger's going to buy this, so I'll shove it in Z and I'll know where to come and get it. You know, $7.99 was that album. So a lot of that, and obviously when I'm buying records, I'm now looking on the back of covers and reading the credits. And I've seen names like, you know, Leland Sklar on bass, Jeff Porcaro on drums, you know, or David Hungate or David Paich on keys, and James Newton Howard on keys, you know, Dean Parks on guitar. And these names are prevalent on not just this one artist I was looking at. I'd see them on Aretha Franklin, you know, Tina Turner, Pink Floyd. I'd see these names and I think, what is it about these guys, you know? So I started to follow the player and not so much the band. So I started to really unpack their input into the world of music, because I knew that they were dropping music that we would listen for years to come. So who are these players? So I was enamored by them. So at the age of 17 I wrote this big list out. I was noodling one day at work and I just wrote this big list out of different players I'd like to play on my album if I ever got to that point. So I don't know, I had a kind of an interest, more than an interest actually, to follow the session players and, you know, hopefully one day be one myself. But, you know, typical Cook Island genes kicked in and got all ho-ha with it, and, you know,
But your interest in arranging it remained really strong, didn't it?
Arrangements were, you know, they, when you listen to things carefully and you listen to a track, and you listen to it from a creative kind of level, you can hear things that you can put in or also not put in, you know. Sometimes you can put too much stuff into a track, and it's just adding the flavour. And I guess, you know, in the later years when we moved to Hastings and I started to mess around in school bands, and my first school band was a band called Quest, and 7-piece band. And again, you know, we had everything jammed into the one amp. Honestly, we went to this talent quest, and the brother, you know, a couple of the boys in the band, their father was a judge, and we thought, oh, yeah, sure, you know, we're in, man, first prize, yeah, woohoo, Hollywood, here we come, check that out. And, you know, we kind of got there, and, you know, everything just got plugged into the one amp, because that's what we had, one amp. And we were at this talent quest, and we were the first band on the stage, and we had everything jammed into the one amp, and our lead singer, he had nowhere to plug his microphone in, yeah, because everything's taken up, the bass is plugged in there, the guitar's plugged in, the keyboards, all into this one little amp. You know.
So what did he do? What did the singer do?
He just screamed, you know. He just screamed. Can you imagine? You know, we're sitting there doing Best of My Love by the Eagles, and he's screaming, you know. And we got the volume whacked up, and shocking.
And did you win?
No, we came second. The 9-year-old girl beat us. I think she was juggling balls or some bloody thing, you know. She beat us. And, you know, so much for your dad, man, you know. Oh, it was funny, man. It was fun. We were having fun. We were young and having the time of our lives. And then kind of after that, music I listened mainly to lots of music. I was listening to stuff, not so much playing. And, you know, I went away down to Wellington for a bit. I would meet my then girlfriend, who would then become my wife, and we moved back to Hawke's Bay in the 1980s. And it was around then that I got into we both got into, we joined the church fellowship. Right. And so my musical life took a whole different journey. So people outside the church were already jamming and doing their things, so I didn't get to know them.
Did you stay with the church music?
Because I was inside the church walls, and I was playing, you know, and I've been on record to say this, and I don't mind saying this again at all, but some of the hottest players I've ever seen play are inside those walls. Yeah. And I know I've talked to a few musicians, and they've said pretty much the same thing. So, you know, it was a privilege to sit there and play music with people like John Bickerstaff. John was an incredible drummer. He came down from Auckland. And when we met him, he just brought a whole sense of professionalism to the sound. And, you know, and I've been listening to years of listening to different sounds. So him and I, we clicked in a lot of ways, and we knew to make the sound good, we needed to work on it. And, you know, subsequently we were invited to, we went into the recording studio in Audio East in Napier. First time in the studio, you know. Hey, can you make me sound like Barry White? You know. Had no idea what we were doing, but you know, John did, and he knew his way around the studio processes, so he was able to help us to.
And were you working on originals at this point?
Yeah, we were writing originals. And that's, you know, that's where my original songwriting kind of really took off. My first original I ever wrote was, you know, I was 14. I was in the youth group, you know. I think we just went to the youth group to check out the girls, to be honest, you know. You know, there might be some other benefits later on, but you know, those chicks look mighty fine. Yeah, I like this church. It was one of those kind of churches. So we used to go along. That was shocking, man. We used to go along, and I wrote this song. It was the Falklands War in the 1980s. Went down, and you know, it was just kind of like up the road in South America, and there was, you know, Palestine was happening, the Middle East, the, you know, trembling cup of the world was always bubbling away. And, you know, I was 14 and thinking, you know, hang on, man, you know, like, you know, I haven't even lived life, I haven't even got to my teenage years, man, I'm not even a young adult yet, you know, like, bloody hell, who the hell says you can have this damn war? And I felt really aggrieved by it, so I wrote this song called, it was the very first song I ever wrote. Well, I'd studied a little bit of haiku poetry, and I used to read the dictionary, so I knew my way around wordsmithing, crafting words and that. But I think my biggest influence was Dan Fogelberg. He was my all-time favourite lyricist. He could paint a song in a 4-minute picture, and he'd just paint you a. You know, even Stevie Wonder could see the picture. You know, it was just kind of like, you know, disrespect to Stevie, but a blind man could see what he was trying to say in his lyrics. And so he was a big influence on me lyrically. So I wrote the song, you know, and I was all gusto, you know, boot the door down kind of attitude, got up there, sung this thing, you know, and I'm angry about this war going on, and 7 days in the week, and who the hell, you know, kind of thing, and I wrote the song, and I kind of sat down and realised I had a whole bunch of ickies around my neck, and my mum's in the audience, and what the hell, you know. yeah. Put on some makeup. Yeah. Oh, it was fun, man. You know, you're 14, man. But I took those songwriting skills into the church, and I used to write for quite a lot actually. I was writing quite a lot of songs, and that came really easy. And then arranged them, get the keys put in, drums introduced in that certain bar along the way. So having listened all those years kind of really helped me.
And were you doing a lot of harmonies as well at that time?
Oh, yeah, that was you know, that was a sunrise. You know, it's kind of like that's just part of the course, putting a harmony in. And at that time, I shifted to percussion. Because we had people like John Bigstaff. I mean, he was drumming. I mean, he drummed him. You know, like come on, you know, it was no brainer because he was just a beautiful drummer, tasteful drummer, groove drummer. And so I shifted to percussion because, you know, we had killer bass players, we had killer drummers, you know, and this is like, well, nobody was playing percussion, so I thought, oh, well, I'll just kind of tap away on this. So and I used to listen to people like Joe Lala, Lenny Castro. These were session percussion players. Who's Luis Conte, people like that. Betty Ann Monger from Arija, I remember seeing them in the 1980s, and she was playing congas, and I was like, whoa, man, I like her way of playing. So I just kind of grabbed all those different influences and then just, you know, horrified it up and trying to make some kind of, you know, make it kind of groove. And I guess that percussion became another, you know, something in the armour that I could use. You know, I could pull out a guitar or bass, drums, but now percussion kind of added in. I think the thing with percussion, it helped me, when you play percussion, it helps you listen, because you got to know where to keep in time, play the offbeats, you know, between the bass and the drummer, and just play everything, what they're laying, you play off it. So
you're not just repeating what someone else is doing.
Yeah, but you're playing, you know, slightly delayed or something like that. So, and I've been blessed, man, to sit behind some amazing rhythm sections and you know, amazing bass players and amazing rhythm section players, and being able to bring that kind of percussion to it. You know, it's like, as Lenny Castro would say, John Bigstaff, and I used to laugh, you know, it's like you're seasoning the music.
Yeah.
You know, you're listening, and then you're just throwing a bit of herbs
It's a
there,
nice way
and
of
a
putting
bit
it,
of
isn't it?
spice there, and it needs a little bit of steel here, you know, it's just listening.
Would the Cook Island influence have influenced that growing up? Did you listen to a lot of Cook Island music and percussion?
To be really honest, the whole Cook Island music is, you know, the Cook Island world of music is flavoursome. It's rhythmic. You know, it's romantic. You know, it's, you know, if you think about Raro's kind of, you know, there's islands up there that kind of like palm trees and swaying palms, and you know, and then you've got swaying hips and a joyful nature behind it, all that sort of thing, and smiling people. And you know, when you're sitting around a garage, I suppose you're all smiling, and then you're jamming the guitar. So, but those influences were always there. They were, the melody, the melodic structure of music was always there. I was always captured by melody, even now. You know, I listen to the melody first, and I listen to what's going on inside the track with the instrumentation. Lyrics will be last.
Wow.
Lyrics are the last things I ever listen to. You know, I listen for the hook. I can hear the hook in the melody. Oh, yeah, that's nice. You know. So, you know, but you know, all self-taught. all ear.
Wow.
You know, I'm an ear player, so those times in the church were really good. And it was the very first time that I actually went overseas was for music. I'd never been overseas in my life. I went overseas in 1991, I think it was. And we went over as a church band and we played at the Forum in Melbourne. If you know the Forum, it's this beautiful theatre right in smack bang in the CBD of Melbourne. We flew into Melbourne. It felt like rock star because we kind of flew in and we only had like 3 days over there. And we did 2 shows and a house concert. And then we flew out. We didn't even really see Melbourne. We just kind of went in there, stayed at a place called the Californian. We kind of roamed around the area that we were in, but we just went to rehearsals and sound checks, and then we were back home, rest, and then at night we were playing. And that was the first time. And then when we came back from that time overseas, playing over there, Jim Hickey, the weatherman.
Oh, yeah.
Jim Hickey, the weatherman from
Was
TV1.
he in the church too?
Yeah, he was in the Auckland branch of our church. And he used to come down to Hawke's Bay, he's a real cool cat, man. We used to hang with him, he's just that kind of a guy. He's just real easy, like he is on TV. The weather's a bit scruffy over here, he's like that, That's just how he is. And he and a guy called Rob Harley, who was a foreign correspondent journalist from television, he also was in the church up in Auckland. They put the show together called the Whether or Not Show, whether there is a God or whether there's not. And they put the show together, and they came down to Hawke's Bay, saw us kind of noodling around, and hey, you guys want to come along, jump on board, and let's go around the place. So we used to travel around with him and do shows around New Zealand with him. And I was playing bass by that time. I'd always kind of deviated between bass, drums, and percussion, or this, or guitar. This was probably the last thing that I think. The others was where my natural joy is, because you have to remember chords there, like drums, it's just kind of close your eyes. No. Yeah. So that's how it was in those years, but certainly influenced by living in Hawke's Bay, living out here. We're in the middle of nowhere. My nearest neighbour's like 1.5k up the road, and you can come out here and just unwind and chill out and get away from the masses, if you like, and come out and just be and create. So that was my time period up to the 1980s, and then throughout the years, I'd just jump on with different bands. I wasn't doing anything hard out serious. I guess I was still trying to find my own sensibility of what I could bring to the mix. And every time you meet different musicians, you're always going to meet different people, and you lock straight into that creativity. And so again, coming out here to a place like this just really helps build that creativity. I find when I'm out here, I write lots.
You're right.
I read. I don't have media here by choice. It's just nice to be in nature. Got
still.
Awa over here, the Moanaro there, the sea there. So I spend most of my time down here. A lot of fire, camp under the stars. Go fishing at night. That's good. It's the balance to, because as musicians we live our lives in the public way. We're on stage. Everyone sees us. They probably don't know us, but they see us. But to come to a place like this is my opportunity to kind of like get away from everything and everyone, and I need that time to just recharge. And so I come home out here to Papakio. This, my parents, this is a 5,000 acre farm, so I just roam around on it like I own the place. No, but I was gifted this block of land here, a right of access to come and go as I please. So I put this shipping container up here, and I just come out here now and just hang. And I'd like to be able to bring people that know the value of quiet and want to be able to create. I want to be able to open up and extend that invitation for people to come out here and write, and and play music and get creative, find that creative space away from the hustle and the bustle. It's important that it's more important than trying to slog away writing a song when you've got a million people in your face. I find that hard. It's easier for me to come to somewhere quiet
And be in the stillness.
yeah, and just tap into some of that those Dan Fogelberg influences, and then the pen flows, and hopefully you've written a number one hit.
And you've brought people down here too, haven't you, already?
Yeah, well, when I came back here in 2015 to bring this container down here, I got around the village and I'd heard that that there wasn't much music going on here, and that kind of saddened me in some ways, because I knew the history of this place, that there was a lot of music, there were a lot of bands. Don Hutana, he lives up the road, and he was a keyboard player that sat behind Billy T. James and Howard Morrison and a few others like that. And so he runs away from the masses too and comes out here. I think we both kind of run away from the place and just come back and just allow yourself to be. Should we talk about Tauranga?
Yes.
Yeah. Tauranga. Well, I moved to Tauranga in 2010. Again, I wasn't playing a lot. I was a bit of an unknown to some of the musicians here. They knew me, but they didn't know me in some ways. And, I put on a couple of big shows here and worked with bands like Artija and got them down. And, and eventually got up on stage with them and played with them, and that was like, I thought, well, man, I've arrived, because there's that whole sense of when you play with the best, that's where you challenge yourself. You know that they're on a level, and then your ass has got to get from down there to there, within two bars of a song, so it's either that sink or swim stuff, but again, an ultimate privilege to play with Brian and Betty, with Artija, and get up and play percussion with them. For as long as it lasted, man, I was just like in heaven. I remember saying to someone said to me, "What was that like?" And I said, "Man, I don't know, I've never taken heroin, but man, it must be like, because it's just like, you just dragged along on the wave. And you're dragged along, it's, the groove is there, it's already just thick, and it's just sitting there grooving away, and you're just on top, trying to smile and look cool as, and thinking, what the hell, I can't believe I'm here. And then when someone like Betty Ann introduces you, that's special.
Gosh, yes.
That's special, So when I got to Tauranga in 2010, I knew nobody up there. Had no friends, had no family. I had asked people, my parents, have we got family in Tauranga? No. Okay, so I secured this really cool job in Tauranga, and that is the reason I went there. And Tauranga had no memory for me, and the word Tauranga, part of the translation means, I read, meant safe anchorage. Yeah. And I'd come out of a pretty hard time through my second marriage, and I came out of that and kind of like needed that kind of safe anchorage kind of place, and I thought, yeah, well, cool. And the other thing too, it held no memory for me. I'd only kind of like drifted through the place once and didn't really know anything about the place, and so when I got up there, my job used to take me all over New Zealand, so I spent years on the state highway networks of New Zealand, so I was hardly ever around Tauranga as it was. But when I'd come back, I knew that I was keen to climb into something musically, And funny thing happened was at this time I had met Tessa McKenzie, and she was a big influence on my world of music in Tauranga, and I credit her for that. Not just that, but she took me I said to her, hey man, I want to go to the All Blacks are playing. I want to go and watch the All Blacks playing. We went past. I had no idea where we were because I hadn't even been in the town. Didn't even know where town was. And she took me past 11th Ave and Driver's Bar, and there was a band in there. And straight away something we like, oh man, gotta go in there. So we rocked into this bar and this band are pumping, and the place was heaving. It was jam packed. And I thought, whoa, what's going on here? So the bar lady says, oh, you can sit up there by the on the band table. And I said, oh, he said, no, they're really cool guys. And I thought, oh, okay. So I kind of sat down, her and I sat down at this, and then this couple come out, Jack and Leslie Maynard, Jack and Leslie. I didn't even know who they were. And they began talking about, oh, thank you for coming to our birthday. And oh, no, we've gay crashed this bloody birthday, And they talked about, we can go around this room and say something wonderful about each one of you. And I'm like, oh, you're asking me. And Charlie, Udire, he was there, him and Di, they were there. And he had the microphone, he had this bloody cordless microphone, and he's walking around the room saying, no, kia ora, what side of the whānau are you? And he came up to me and dropped the, kia ora, what side of the whānau are you with? We're kind of gay crashing. Everyone, hey, And I said, well, look, the least I could do is sing you a waiata for at least gay crashing your party. I felt so terrible. And I got up and sang Best of My Love, I think it was, by the Eagles. And the band dropped all the harmonies. Whoa, this is nice. And then Jack come up to me later and he said to me, bro, do you play bass? And I said, oh yeah, just enough to get by. And he said to me, it's all easy stuff, man. You jump on, it's my birthday. And now I'm in the band.
Well, you gate crashed.
I gate crashed this party, now I'm in the bloody band. And then, oh bro, we're going to Hamilton tomorrow, do you want to come with us? Like, what? And it started from there. And he introduced me to Mike Lawrence. Mike Lawrence introduced me to Frankie Burrell, to Mountie. And I had no idea who these people were. And then as I'm going around town, I'd be hearing people saying, have you met Mountie? Have you met Frankie Burrell? Oh yeah, that's that guy I just met. And they were saying, man, if you're playing with people of that caliber, so, and through Mountie, he rings me up. I remember, 2 o'clock on a Sunday afternoon, I'm at home, he ring me up. Boy, what you got? Where's your gears? Here at home. Oh, we're setting up down at Rosie O'Grady's in the Mount. Come down and play. So I take all my gear down and I get down and they're just about to run down. So, get my gear all set up. And in that band was Sid Signal, Rima Barlow, Mountie, Hotene, I can't remember the other brother's name because he was only there for a bit and he went to Australia. And Hipper, he was, sorry Hip, it was Hipper on the guitar. But Rima Barlow and I, that connection there, is we came from the same kind of love of music and we would meet all the time. Sundays we'd go and have a coffee and we'd just talk over music. Then my phone would ring. Doy, I got this, bring your gear. We're playing at 5 o'clock this afternoon. It's like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm like, what? And who with? And then he'd say, oh, and he'd tell me these random names. And I'm literally shaking the hands of these band members that I've just met.
And then you're on with them.
And I'm having to ask I remember asking the drummer, I said to him, hey man, what kind of stuff do you play? He goes, oh, it's, all classic rock. And I went, oh, cool, because, but, that was that whole sink or swim thing. Yeah. And I learned that with music. And, those disciplines have taught me to always be sharp because you just don't know when you're going to get caught upon. And I think it's a little bit of that session player stuff came in. Because those guys, they only had 3 minutes to drop the track, and if you're not the cat, man, we'll get someone else that can do it. So I came in with that kind of attitude behind it, you know, like, you know, I don't know you guys from a bar or soap, but man, you know, whatever I'm about to drop, it better make sense. So you know, I was always under that kind of pressure, if you like, and it kept you healthy. And yeah, people like Rima, you know, he'd sit there, he'd just be laughing at me, you know, he just, yeah, are you puking yet? I go, what? You know. We have fun, you know, and then, you know, I played with them, and then through him I met people like PK, and then Jeff Paror. I'd been hearing about this guy called Jeff Paror for years. By now, you know, 2-3 years had gone past, and I hadn't even heard this guy, Jeff Paror. You know what I'm saying? Have you met Jeff Paror? No. Man, he's a walking jukebox. That's all I hear from him. I'm in Tikawiti, my phone rings. It's Thursday. Toi, we've got a show tomorrow night. Can you come home for a dress rehearsal? Man, I've just arrived in Tikawiti. I'm working over here. Well, get your ass over here tomorrow. We'll go and get your gear, and it'll be up on stage. You walk on, and so we walk in, and it was $140 to get in the door. We played at Baytech Arena, and we were sitting behind Macy Ricker and Rhea Hall.
Wow.
And them, and they were all there. You know, we were at the band table. You know, we kind of walked in, and there they are. You know, and I'm like, I can't believe I'm in this kind of company.
Cream of the cream.
And I said to Rima, I said, who's the MD? He says, oh, Jeff Paror. And then I see this guy walking towards me. I thought, oh, this must be Jeff. And he's smiling at me, you know, and I'm nervous as, you know, because I'm hearing about this guy. And he just, let's go for a walk. Okay. So now I'm walking with him. And he just said, you know, I hear you've got good ears. You've got good ears. He said, you know, just keep it clean. Clean in, clean out, and have fun in the middle. And see you at the end, brother. Shook my hand, and that was it. No, I didn't even know what we were playing. Even at that point, no one was saying anything to me, man. And we get up on the stage, and one of the very first songs they dropped was a Manhattan song, Hurt to think that you lied to me. That song, just the harmonies in there. Woo! Man, you know, that was a ride. I've got photos of those times. And then I got introduced to PK, and PK, you know, now I'm playing at the Sits Club, and I look up, and there's a banner above us, you know, told on a multi-show band. And I'm up on stage with all these guys, you know, PK and all them. And then that, from there, which was a personal delight for me, was now I'm playing on the marae. You know, going around to the different marae and meeting all the whanaunga around different marae. And, you know, I didn't come from a marae background being a Cook Islander. So, you know, that was an honour to meet people of the whenua in their hapu. So, you know, to me that was a huge blessing to be able to play in that band. And Auntie Mabel, everyone knows Auntie Mabel, she's been on movies and all that sort of stuff. And she was the MC, and she used to keep us in line. So, man, I played with them. But, you know, the other thing that I probably do want to say was that I was never, because music, I believe music is multi-dimensional, you know, and so I always wanted to be multi-dimensional. I didn't want to just play one kind of groove and stick with that, you know. I wanted to play everything. You know, I wanted to listen to everything. So I've always, in my years being in Tauranga, have always wanted to drift around the different pockets of musicians. You know, the blues guys over here, you know, Dave Porter and all them. Sorry, Dave, I know you've been inviting me to your stuff for a long time. But always, again, it was a time around availability. But, you know, if I could, I would make the effort to go along and hang out with those guys, go down to, you know, now Jack Dusty's, go and hang with those guys, go to the Mātua, hanging with those guys, go to Hangaro, to the jungle, hang out with the brothers there, and, you know, play with all the soul, reggae, funk guys. You know, and that's the thing about Tauranga. Tauranga has just got this incredible lay of different musicians that are up there, different pockets. And then, you know, and that brought me into contact people like Sweet Echo. You know, Echo. Yeah, he was a brother. He was a brother before we even got on the stage, you know. But when I saw them play for the first time, I was just gobsmacked. You know, just that in the pocket, tight, groove, tight, harmonies locked, everything locked. I mean, the first show I ever did with them was the Nashi Festival in Tupuna, and got up with them, and and during the break I said to Echo, bloody hell, man. Man, there's no room for harmonies, there's no room for everything was covered, because him and his siblings and Timmy Cooper, Ara and all those guys, they just had everything down. But again, you're playing music at that level, and it tests you to play at that level, whether you've got the chops or not to play at that level. So, when you're playing with Timmy and Ara and all those guys, and Echo and Reelaman, these cats are serious groove merchants, so, Rimmer and all them, so I was always playing with people on that kind of level. I always felt like I was like, jing jigga jinga, in the monk the morning, jing jigga jing jigga, and these guys were bringing the real groove, but man, you couldn't but help but just sit back and admire and smile away, and like I'm in here, I'm with them, kind of thing. It kind of always felt like that. But one thing about playing with people like that is that you never get nervous, because they're of that caliber that they can carry the show. They've got it locked. So when as time went on, I started playing more and more with different bands. Rimabala, come meet this band. What do you actually play? That kind of stuff. But also people like Sweet Echo, playing with them was just like, I didn't play with them much, but when you did play with them, you knew that you were in the company of some serious musicians there that know their stuff and intentional. The thing with Echo is, I found with him, he was really intentional. Right down to how he set up the brackets. I sat down with him and we did the One Love. We did One Love this year. We did the after party kind of thing. And it was actually, the official after party was in the bar next to us, and everybody was in our bar. They had electronic music in there, and you had to pay $25 to go in there. Nobody wanted to go there, but we were pumping out all the reggae and all that in the cornerstone, so everybody came out there. We had 3 packed out nights there. And, just you could barely move. And what a privilege. I thought, woohoo, I've arrived. But, and then sadly he passed away, my brother. He passed away, and, I just sit now and just count my blessings that I've met every person that I've met and I've ever played with, including the guys on my diploma course. I'm doing a diploma course in music and sound production now. I started that in level 6. I started that in January of this year. In 4 months' time I'll be finished. But the young guys, and I really want to be specific about this. We're talking young people that stage shy, fight their own inner battles around self-esteem, all that. Young people of I believe young people of our age, we had a real cruisy back in our time, man. Now they're growing up in a world that's just got a whole lot of mixed signals coming through social media and all that. And, their world is, forever a dance, but, they keep their joy and their laughter and that. But those young guys, I'm playing, Papa, Tyrone, he's like 18. I just admire his drumming, just a beautiful drummer, solid drummer. You got Asher, writing songs, Asher McMahon, writing songs at the age of 26, Joe Stanley, 19, Jazz, Jazz skills just coming out of his skin, and you talk to them and, came out of mum's room, sat on the laptop and got some online tutorials. Then I went and took some lessons. Now I've been teaching jazz guitar for the last 5 years, and you're like, what? And how old are you? 19. 19, man. We were plugging everything into the one amp at 19, And that's the difference from the digital age to my time. My time was put the record on. Oh yeah, it kind of sounds like that. Now you can just bring it up online and there it is. You know, B flat minor 7 or whatever, you know, whatever that chord is, or major 7. So those young guys that are in my course, you know, if anyone's watching this, you know, I'm just going to say, don't ever think that young people have no value music-wise. I actually saw a post the other day on Facebook which kind of disturbed me a little bit, and it said, you know, the music of today has no soul. And I was going to say, hey brother, I'm not sure what you're listening to, man, because the stuff I'm listening to coming from these young guys is soulful and just drips creativity, their lyrics, their handle on lyrics, their whole thing around how they arrange their songs, and you know, being able to help them put some of their songs together, you know, and a blessing, you know, and to be around that young energy, and these kids can play, man. They can play. You know, Asher, he plays guitar, bass, piano. Joe Stanley, he plays bass, guitar, drums, keyboards, all well at a real high, what I perceive to be a high level. These guys are just dropping it. How old are you, man? 19. Wow. You know. So, you know, and a real honour to be. I love the Tauranga music scene. I love it there, you know, and you know, sometimes, you know, it's a 5-hour travel from here back to Tauranga. It's all worth it because I enjoy the whole camaraderie, and that probably, in closing, that probably brings me to the whole thing is that music to me is about fellowship. It's about inclusiveness. It's not competitive to me. I don't do competitive. You know, it's like the music will find you out if that's your style. Yeah, because you'll fall over, your ass will fall over in 2 seconds flat. But if you come from a place of humility, a place of wanting to serve the music, what does the track need? What does the song need that I can add to it? If you come from that kind of spirit, yeah, you'll be all good, you know. But if you come from a spirit of just, you ain't gonna last, man. You know, and that's the thing with music. It's about longevity. You know, I've been playing since I was 5. I didn't really get serious till I was around 19. And even then I was halfway serious. But definitely in the last year, I can say during my diploma course, I've been really intentional. You know, writing now, you know, the last week I've written 5 songs. You know, just coming out of your skin because, you know, I've been more intentional about it, and yeah, it just flows when you're out here. It flows out here. You can't help but, you know, create and have another cup of tea, go inside, and there's a song bubbling away. You pick up the guitar, add a little bit of a noodle, and, you know, and then, oh yeah, that sounds cool. So, you know, here we are. So I think for me, you know, with the whole and kia ora to everyone on Top Hop. I look at it this way: I'll just be contributing to an amazing channel of music and musicians that are contributing to the channel. And to me, you know, thank you, Linda, especially to you, Linda. You know, because you and I we've had long chats about it, and I know how you're wired, and Tracy, and Emphatic, and Gary, and yourself. People like yourselves that are all in on that channel. You know, I think that it'll be a great medium to be able to share the joy of music and you know, hold true connections with people, because music does connect us. You know, I found my family now. You know, the music family in Tauranga are my family, because, you know, I had no family, no friends up there when I moved up there. I didn't know, boo, you know, who's this hoary, you know. So, but now I've found my place in the world of music up there, and hanging out with amazing musicians, especially our young people. You know, those young guys on my course, man. I'm going to say this, I'll say it now. If you can get to a show where they're playing, get to it, because you won't be disappointed, because, you know, these guys do have soul, and they're writing an incredible body of work. You know, Joe Stanley when he wrote his song, I Just Want to Get to Know You, you know. And it's all jazz influence. Wow, man, it come from you, like, wow. And knowing his backstory too gives me the ultimate thrill to have even been part of his music, and just part of his, that little part of his musical journey. What a thrill and an honour for me. And I told them once, and I'll say it here now, whoever I played with on stage, no matter who you are, you're my hero. Because it takes courage and it takes a lot of guts to get up and pour out an original, pour out a song where you're feeling vulnerable, and you're pouring it out to the world. And to me, man, that takes a lot of guts and it takes a lot of courage to do that. So, you by default become my hero. So those are my musical heroes, people I play with, no matter what level. Whether we're jamming around the kitchen table, which is cool, and go through the alphabet, A to Z, whether it's that, or playing at Tortora Street up in Tauranga, or playing it on the Forum, and over in Melbourne, playing at Sky City or wherever, man, it doesn't matter. It's music brings us together, and it keeps us honest, it keeps us humble, if you choose to be like that. But, if you want to go off on your own little tangent or whatever, catch pie, I've just noticed that, and in closing, people that play at the highest levels I've noticed are the most humble. Tribonius, he comes to mind. Ramabalo comes to mind. All those people that play music at a high level have just got this absolute humility around them. And man, I just want to hang out with people like that, because they serve the music. They come with that spirit of wanting to serve music. And, now I say to the boys at school, we're not musicians, we're ambassadors of love, man. We're just sharing the love of music, the love of this gift called music, and we're just the vessel that flows through. So that's kind of my take on music.
Thank you very much. It's been an honour to come down here and see you on the highway, and the influences that have been around you as you've grown up. It's absolutely beautiful down here.
I'm a country boy at heart, really, although I live in Tauranga and spend a lot of time up there, but ultimately my heart is here, Papakio, on this farm. I've got the freedom to move, I've got a loud stereo down there mooing away. Hey, I'll get a gun and shoot you and put you in my fridge. There's our steak down there running around here. It's wonderful, wonderful. Thank you for taking this time and opportunity to come down here.
It's been lovely.
And find me, and now we're doing it. And
I'm going to put the billy on now.
yeah, put the choke on now. I think we've talked too much. Anyway, thank you. Kia ora. Kia ora tātou.